Okay. All right. So today we're going to be talking about balancing equations, just like we did last week. And guys, if you checked on Google Classroom, I said that there will be a test next week Monday, right? But now that I'm thinking about it, I feel like next week Monday is a little bit too soon. Do you guys agree?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I'm going to postpone it to next week Thursday. All right. And also, please don't forget your book reviews due for Monday. Okay, so with regard to word equations, this is how it's going to work, right? So before I gave you guys chemical equations, right, as symbols, and you needed to balance those equations and you needed to create word equations from those chemical equations. But we're going to use a different approach this time, right? I'm going to give you the word equation, and you guys are going to have to give me the chemical equation for those word equations, right? So same protocol. You guys are going to talk to me on the chat, and I think this is going to be quite an exciting lesson. Right? We just need to give ourselves that space to answer. Okay, let's look at the first word equation. So we have potassium oxide, and we break potassium oxide up into potassium and oxygen, right? And if I had to put that into a chemical equation, can anyone tell me how that would look? How does potassium oxide look as a formula, as a chemical formula? Okay, so Christopher says it's KO. Well done, right? So can you guys see that K stands for potassium and O stands for oxygen? I'm just checking who is in my class and who's late. Just a second, guys. Okay, so I see Gary's here, Amalem is here, Lesefo, Michael, Kayla. Hello, Kayla. Amma and Amy. So Sibu isn't here. Mo, is Mo here? I think it's just Sibu and Mo. All right.
Yeah, ma'am.
So we break potassium oxide, and then can you guys tell me the rest of the chemical equation? It says potassium plus oxygen. And I want all of you to try and answer. It shouldn't only be Christopher answering. So it's K plus O, right? Now let's see if this is a balanced chemical equation. So we use the same system that we did before. We break the elements up on each side, products as well as reactants, and we count. So we have 1K in the reactant side, and we have 1O, and we have 1K and 1O. Am I balanced? Yes, right. Okay, let's do another one, okay? So here we start with potassium bromide, okay, plus chlorine, which gives me potassium chloride plus bromine. So all you guys need to do is form for me a chemical equation at the bottom. I want all of you to try doing that. So Michael says PBC. Remember, potassium is not P. Phosphorus is P. Okay. So potassium is K, and bromide is bromine, right, guys? So bromide is Br. I see some of you are saying just writing B, right? And you need to separate KBr and put chlorine on its own. Because can you guys see how chlorine is separated by the plus sign? Do not forget the plus sign in the middle, right? And chlorine is written as Cl. But chlorine is a diatomic molecule. Remember the little sentence we learned, have no fear of ice cold beer? Chlorine exist as 2 atoms in nature. So it will be Cl2. Quickly tell me the 7 diatomic elements in the chat below. Starting with hydrogen. You can give me the chemical formula. All right, so Christopher's answered me here. So he said hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, iodine, right? Iodine is the stuff you need to, the mineral you need to intake so that basically it speeds up your metabolism, right? Metabolism is how fast you break down food in your body. People who have a really fast metabolism lose weight quickly and, and they don't have weight problems, but people who have a slow metabolism, it takes them a little bit of a while to break down food. Okay, well done, Gary. All right, so what is the chemical formula for potassium chloride? Remember, you name the metal first, then you name the non-metal. Okay, let's see if Christopher is correct. So potassium is K, right? Chloride is Cl. So Christopher's halfway there. Okay, what is incorrect about that answer that Christopher has given me? Who can correct that for him? Christopher, if you know how to correct that answer of yours, you can go ahead as well. Remember, guys, there is a plus sign separating potassium chloride and bromine. So it's not all named into one. And I want answers from people who are quiet, right? I want answers from, I'm going to be reading here, who's answering me? Kian, why are we so late? I want answers from Amma and Kayla. I haven't been hearing much from Kayla. Connection, okay. All right. So the last one, and I see Christopher has corrected himself there. It will be BR, right? Remember, guys, you need to separate them. If there's a plus sign separating the 2 compounds or the 2 elements, you need to put that as well. Okay. But is it just BR? Is that how we write BR? Br2, right? Why is it Br2? Because bromine is a diatomic molecule. And I see Michael has written KCl2. Michael, I like how you're thinking. You're remembering that chlorine needs a 2 because it's diatomic. But remember, the rule is whenever any of the diatomic molecules are bonded to something else, right? So they bonded, like chlorine is bonded to potassium here. It loses its diatomic property. Okay, so then you just name it as potassium chloride without the 2. Capiche? So let's try to see if this is balanced, right? So we have K, we have Br, we have Cl, and we should have the same elements on the side as well, right? Okay, let's see. So we have 1 potassium here, we have 1 bromine and 2 chlorines, and we have the same here. Are we balanced, guys? No. What do we need to balance? We need to balance chlorine, yes. And we need to balance bromine. Okay, so let's see which one can we start with first? Let's start with bromine on the side here. So we need to bring bromine to 2. And we cannot put a number next to bromine. We have to put it before the compound name. So we just added 2 before KBr, but then this changes the amount of potassium we have now. So how many potassiums do I have in this column after I tally it up? Tell me how many potassiums and how many bromine and how many chlorine. Well done, Malemo. So I have 2 potassiums, I have 2 bromine, and I have 2 chlorine. But then on this side, I still have 1 potassium, I still have 2 bromines, and yes, Michael, and 1 chlorine.
Wrong button, ma'am.
Okay, so I want you guys to help me bring potassium and chlorine to a number 2. How do we do it on the product section as well? What do we need to add? Okay, so introduce the 2 before KCl. Yes, that could absolutely work. So now when I tally it up, it becomes 2 potassiums, 2 bromines, 2 chlorines, right? And the same thing on this side. And I see that I am balanced. Right, well done, Michael. Okay. All right, guys, let's move on. And I'm moving a bit fast today. Feels like whenever I'm in school, things move faster. But anyway, are you guys excited to come back to school?
My mom says I can't come back to school, ma'am.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, like our president, if you heard the president's speech the other day, he said that,
Yes.
yeah, he said that it's up to the parents. Okay. All right. When must we come? So, Kian, school opens on the 1st of June for grade 12s and grade 7s, but we will be sending.
I'm going to be in Durban.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm
And-
going to go stay with my dad for a month or 2.
Okay. All right. Will you still be doing Zoom classes with us then?
Yes, I will.
Okay. All right. All right. Let's move on to the next one. So guys, in this case here, we have a word equation. Copper plus oxygen gives me copper oxide. So let's see how we're going to put this in a chemical equation. I want you guys to try for me. Amy, I want you to try and answer this one for me. Okay, I'm already seeing answers here, so I'm just going to take that. Thank you, guys. So we have copper, right? And copper is Cu, and we have oxygen. But guys, what's wrong about that oxygen that you wrote for Mo, Christopher, and Michael? What's wrong about that? Oxygen is alone on its own. So that means whenever it's alone, it is diatomic, right? It needs to have the 2, right? And in the end, because copper bonds with oxygen, it loses the 2. Because whenever oxygen is bonded to another element, it loses the 2. Well done, guys. Yeah, I like how you guys picked up on that mistake. Gabby, I will answer your question as soon as I'm done with this. Okay, so we have copper, we have oxygen, and we should have copper and oxygen on the other side. All right, how many coppers do we have as reactants? 1. And how many oxygens? 2. How many coppers do we have as products? We have 1 and 1. Well done. I see Mo, Michael, and Christopher are really on the board today. Well done. Okay, so what we need to do now is that we need to bring oxygen on the product side to equate to the number of oxygens on the reactants, right? Is little Amy. Thank you, Amy. Sometimes I'm very amazed by the names you give yourselves. It's quite amusing. All right. So I need to bring this side. I need to bring oxygen to a 2, right? Now remember, I cannot introduce a 2 next to oxygen here. I'm not allowed to put a subscript, okay? But I am allowed to put a 2 before. I'm allowed to put a coefficient, which is exactly what I do, because that's the only thing I can do. And now, and I want you guys, I want Lesejo to answer me, and Ama, and let's see what else, Kian, Mulemo. I want you guys to tell me how many coppers do I have now, and how many oxygens do I have. Okay, well done. So I have 2 of each one, right? And on this side, I have 2 oxygens, but I only have 1 copper. So what do I do? In order to bring copper in the reactants to become, to equate with copper in the products. And for this answer, I'm going to tell you who I want answering this. Okay, but you guys gotta wait for me. I know you're very excited to answer, some of you, but you have to wait, right? So Michael says that you introduce the 2 before copper, okay, which is absolutely correct. In that way, everything is going to balance itself out, okay? All right, you guys will do magnesium oxide for homework. Then let's do something a little bit interesting. Let's do this one here. This one's slightly more challenging than the rest. So we start with sulfur dioxide, right? Sulfur dioxide is the dangerous gas that is emitted from like power stations and stuff like that, okay? So sulfur dioxide plus oxygen gives me sulfur trioxide. Tri means 3. I want you guys to try to give me a chemical equation for this. First of all, what is the chemical formula for sulfur dioxide? Here, the sample says SO. Okay, so guys, because it's sulfur dioxide, right? You first want to put S for sulfur, but dioxide means that there are 2 oxygen atoms. The word di means 2, right? So because it's in the name, the 2 will come as the subscript next to O. Does everyone understand that? I see Michael and Christopher have gotten it right. Plus oxygen, and oxygen is O2 because it's diatomic and it's alone, right? And then I get sulfur trioxide. And how do I write sulfur trioxide? And I want all of you to try because all of you can get this right. It's not SO4. If it was SO4, it would be sulfur tetraoxide, right? So I write it as SO3, right? Why is it SO3? Because the 3 is tri, all right, guys? Let's see if this is good, Gabby. But remember to always keep your capital letters. So if I have to try to balance this out, I have the same name of elements on each side. I have 1 sulfur in the reactants. Okay, how many oxygens do I have as reactants? And I do not have 2 oxygens. I want Kian, Lesejo, and Amat to help me answer this one. How many oxygens do I have as reactants? And check properly, right? Because this entire part here is my reactants. So I have 2 over here plus another 2, and I end up with 4. Okay, guys, right? Yes. Well done, Kian. And then I am going on to my product section, right? So how many sulfurs do I have now? I have 1 sulfur. And how many oxygens do I have? 3. Well done, guys. Okay, so now I want to balance it out. So I see that there's 1 sulfur on this side and there's another sulfur on this side. And there's 4 oxygens on this side and 3 oxygens on the other side. So who can tell me what is common between the multiples of 4 and 3? If you count in 4s, right, in the 4 times table, and you count in the 3 times table, at what number do we stop at? So 4, 8, 12, and I see I'm getting 2 answers there. 3, 6, 9, 12. And the answer, well done, let's say for Michael and Mo, is 12. So I need to say, by how much do I need to times oxygen by in order to get 12? So I see on this side that oxygen is split. So I don't want to start on that side. It seems complicated. So I start on the side where oxygen is only in 1 compound. And what can I times oxygen by in order to get 12? Times it by 4, right? Right, so 4 times 3 is going to give me 12. So let's.
Ma'am, why is it 4?
Yes.
Why is it 4 behind the is?
Okay, so remember that you wanted to take oxygen over here, which was 4, and oxygen over here, which was 3, and you needed to bring them to a number that was common to both of them, right? Which is, what's that number?
12. Okay, I get it, ma'am.
Right. So we look on the product side first, and we see that what do we need to times 3 by to get to 12? And that's why we put the 4 before. Okay, and how many sulfurs do I have? I think I already asked that question though. I have 4 sulfurs. So guys, what do I need to do to this side in order to get 12? If I put, what can I do here? Okay, let's see how it goes. So I still have 4 oxygen here, and I have 1 sulfur, and I see that I need to bring sulfur to a 4. So what do I need to do to sulfur on this side to bring it to a 4? And you all can answer this. It's simple. I need to times it by 3, but don't just tell me 4 or 3. Give it to me in a chemical formula. Good, Mo. So I bring the 4 before the SO2, right? And now I have 4 sulfurs, and I want all of you to try and calculate how many oxygens I have. And Mulemo, I know you can do this as well. So all you need to do is a little bit of math here. You need to say 4 times 2 plus 2. That's all. Okay, so I have 8. Well done. Right? And I have 4 and I have 12. So what do I need to do? Am I balanced? No, I'm not balanced. I still need to bring 8 to 12. What can I put in front of O here? 8 plus what gives me 12? So if I say 8 plus 4, exactly, guys. So if I put a 2 before oxygen, it's going to give me 4. Am I right? Right? So if I put the 2 before oxygen, I would say 2 times 2, which gives me 4. And 4 oxygens on the side plus 8 oxygens on this side gives me 12 oxygens altogether. and iron balanced. I think this question was a little bit, took a while. Okay, moving on. You guys will do this one for homework. Let's do a little bit of a hard one. Now, guys, when we spoke about common names for equations, remember we learned about hydrochloric acid, which was pool acid, and it was extremely strong, and we saw how it like scorched that girl's face. Okay, you guys need to memorize the chemical formulas of those common compounds, right? So the first compound here is hydrochloric acid. Does anybody know the chemical formula for hydrochloric acid? Anybody? Well done, Mo. You can see you studied for the paper. So HCl is the chemical formula for hydrochloric acid. Does anyone know the chemical formula for sodium hydroxide? And you can just give me the chemical formula by looking at the name. All you need to know is how to write sodium and how to write hydroxide. Christopher has given me an answer. So Christopher, well done. Just swap the H and the O. A hydroxide is always O and then the H, right? Okay, let's see what we get. So we get sodium chloride. I want, and do not answer me as yet. I'll say who I want answering. Let's have Christopher, Gabriella, Kian, and Umulemo. Give me the chemical formula for sodium chloride. In the chat, of course. Is Christopher correct? Yes, Kian, well done, right? Umulemo, remember that sodium is Na. Okay, that can be a little confusing sometimes. Okay, well done, guys. So sodium chloride, and how do I write water? H2O, well done, Amma. Good. Right. So let's see if, now this looks pretty hectic, right? But I'm going to show you how easy it is. So we're just going to break all of this up. I'm not going to do it for you guys. You're going to help me do this. So tell me which elements are the reactants consisting of? Or do the reactants consist of? What are the elements? And for this answer, I want, do not answer me as yet. I want Lestejo, Amma, Amy, and Michael to answer this one. So tell me what elements make up the reactants and the products. And just give me the symbol. You don't need to give me the entire word. Okay, so at least I received a response from Amma. And the rest.
I don't understand the question.
Okay, so the question was, what elements make up the reactants and the products? Okay, so does anyone else know before I tell you the answer? Can anyone else help me with that? Sodium, yes, sodium is one of it. I have hydrogen, I have chlorine, and I have oxygen. Can you guys see that? Right? Remember to break up the elements and give each element its separate column. Okay? Yes, well done, Amy. And the same thing is on the other side, because remember, products have the same elements as reactants. So we have H, we have Cl, we have Na, and we have O, right? Okay, so in the side we have, how many H's do we have in the reactants? Okay, we have 2 hydrogens, because can you see there's 1 hydrogen here and there's 1 hydrogen there, right? Plus chlorine. How many chlorines do we have? 1. And how many sodiums do we have? Good, Amma. And lastly, how many oxygens do we have? We have 1 as well. In the products, how many hydrogens do we have now? 2. And how many chlorine? And how many sodium? We have 1 sodium. And lastly, we have 1 oxygen. Okay, are we balanced? Take a good look at the columns. Compare. Yes or no? Yes. Well done, guys. That wasn't so bad. So sometimes I'll give you a chemical equation that's already balanced, right? And I'll still give you the mark for writing the elements, and I'll still give you the mark for writing, drawing the table. Okay. Let's do one more of these crazy ones, right? Guys, if you don't know what you should be able to create a chemical formula for each one. But if you don't know what it is, then just go to this activity, you know, where we done the common names. Okay, and I have put it up for you there. Okay, so hydrochloric acid, how do we write that? H, yes, and Cl. How do we write sodium? Yes, let's have for your question. Good. And well done, Kian. And then how do we write sodium chloride? Oh, you guys are fast. Good. Right. And how do we write hydrogen? Hydrogen is a diatomic molecule. So it will be H2. Well done. Now let's tally it up and see if we are balanced, right? So in the reactants, okay, before we get there, I'm going to name a group quickly. Yeah, okay. So I want Kayla, Mo, Michael, and Lesejo to help me name the elements in the reactants and the elements in the products. So it's Kayla, Mo, Michael, and Lesejo. Okay, let's see what answers me. So I have H, I have Cl, well done. And I see you corrected your Cl. And we have Na. Well done, guys. Okay. In the reactants, we have 1 hydrogen, we have 1 chlorine, and we have 1 sodium. In the products, we have 2 hydrogens, 1 chlorine, and 1 sodium. What is the one element that is unbalanced in this equation? Hydrogen. So what? Yes. So what do I need to do? I see the hydrogen here is unbalanced, right? I need to bring it to a 2. So what is the only thing I can do in the reactants? And I want, for this answer, I want Christopher, Gabby, and Kian to help me answer. Okay, I see Michael has already answered. So in order to bring it the 1 to a 2, all you need to do is introduce, and I like how Christopher says introduce, that's really smart. Introduce the 2 before HCl, right? But that changes how many chlorine I have as well. That changes everything. So I make a new tally, and I say 2 hydrogens and 2 chlorines, 1 sodium. I'm still sticking here with the same thing. Am I balanced now? Not yet. I need to balance chlorine first of all. I need to bring chlorine to a 2, right? So how do I bring chlorine to a 2? What do I need to put in front of that compound? Good, Gabby. I need to put a 2 in front of this, right? So in that case, sodium will become 2, chlorine will become 2, hydrogen becomes 2. But sodium on this side is still 1. And in order to bring sodium to a 2, I just put a 2 before sodium in the reactants, and I'll be able to change it. And now we are absolutely balanced. Okay, guys, I hope you learned from this lesson. I know that it can seem a bit scary, but the only way you're gonna get it right is if you practice, okay? So I will be putting this homework on, and it will be due for, I'll write the due date in Google Classroom. And yeah, are there any questions? I know Gabby asked me something a little while earlier. Just
Ma'am, can I ask a question? Ma'am, can I ask a question? So, like, if our parents like don't allow us to go to school, right? What's this like? Will we be able to like catch up with, you know? Are we still gonna do online?
Yes.
Oh,
Okay. So if your parents, you know, feel like it's too risky, then the president even said that you guys can continue with online lessons and stuff. Okay. So it's basically a personal choice you have to make. Okay. Gabby says, ma'am, why don't they let kids that want to go to school go, and other kids that don't, let them carry on Zoom? Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Although it will be very chaotic. You know, trying to manage, if I'm teaching in a class, trying to teach those who are physically in front of me and then those on the Zoom call, but we'll have to figure out something. Okay, guys, I'm going to see you in the next lesson. As you can, I don't know, for some reason my voice is like really straining today. I'll see you in the next lesson. Bye.